Hello, I'm Eric Kelley. I am a finance professor at the University of Tennessee, and I'm also a finance professor at the University of Tennessee, and I'm also a faculty fellow for the Microsoft Excel Collegiate Challenge. This is a walkthrough video of the junior varsity version of the January 2025 online battle. Really excited about what's going on right now in MECC because for the first time ever, we are now introducing varsity and junior varsity versions of all of our online cases. And so that's super helpful, especially to those who want to just start getting to know cases. So the junior varsity cases are going to be basically just scaled back versions of the varsity cases. And then there's also a little bit extra help along the way and some hints. Now, the varsity and the JV cases are also college versions of the larger professional case that also comes out during the same month. So everything is nice and synced up. And so those of you who are really overachievers, I encourage you to try the more difficult versions of these cases as well. So let's get started. A quick look at this case. We'll see that this is a play on the Wizard of Oz. So we've got some of the characters from the Wizard of Oz traveling down the yellow brick road. Couple of tabs here on the front end to pay attention to. Here's the yellow brick road tab. And so we've got numbered bricks throughout the sheet. And note that in the actual yellow brick road tab, we've got some merged cells here. We can get a little bit messy. And so each brick spans 2 cells. For the JV case, we've also included this unmerged version. And so basically you take the yellow brick road and you unmerge the cells and you just repeat the numbers across the 2 cells that span the brick. So this is a gift in the JV case. In the varsity case, in the professional case, you would have to do some of this unmerging yourself. And so depending on the level here, we're going to be using either the true yellow brick road tab or the unmerged version of the yellow brick road. Let's jump right in. I'm going to skip the bonuses for now. We'll go back to those at the end. Sometimes it's easier to do the bonuses first. In this case, it doesn't really matter based on the nature of things. But we're going to go here to level 1. This is Dorothy's dog, Toto, walking along each individual row. So if Toto walks across each of these Excel rows, what is the sum of the total bricks Toto walks on? So let's get a visual example so we know exactly what's going on. So in row 1, Toto is walking across these blue bricks, and so our task is just to sum those numbers. I'm going to do my work here on the yellow brick road tab, and I'll insert a row here at the top. Labels. So I'm going to add a row number here, make my life just a little bit easier, and then I'm going to calculate my sum. So insert some row numbers. I'll use a sequence function. And there's my row numbers, and so the calculation is going to be the sum of all of these numbers. And I can copy that down, and there I have all of my answers. So for the case, I only need the first 21 of these. Grab those with a copy. And go in here and paste the values and fill the answer cell. So I can check my example, so I see that 2028, it matches up. And I can also look at these hints. So game 1 answer is between 1460 and 1480. That checks out. Game 2, 17 to 1720. It checks out. 1640 to 2640 to 2660. That one checks out as well. Here we are now on level 2. And on level 2, instead of moving across a row, we're going to move down a column. So we're going to sum numbers down columns. So visual example here for example 2. So if you move down column A, you hit all of these blue bricks. Move down column B, you hit all these blue bricks, and so on. So in this level, the unmerged tab is going to be a little bit easier to work with since we have numbers in every column. So let's start by making, I'd like to make a row A through Y just so I can reference my column and make life easier for myself. And I'm going to do that by using the character function. So the character function is equals CHAR, and you give it a number. And so every character has a unique number associated with it. And so the letters are all in order. And so the capital A, and you just have to know this, the capital A is character 65. So character 65 is A. Character 66 is capital B, and so on. So a way to do this really quickly is to use a sequence function, get my list of numbers in a single row. So I've got one row, I'm going to have 25 numbers, and I want to start with 65. So there's my numbers 65 through 89. Now let me step into this cell real quick, and I'm going to wrap this in character function. So the character function is going to hit that array generated by the sequence, one number at a time, and it'll generate my A through Y. All right, so now I'm ready to sum. So I want to sum column there for A and copy all the way across. And there's my answers. So let's just temporarily paste these out here so I can work with them. Paste the values. And I can see that B matches up with the example 5695. Now, fortunately, everything is in order, so I can just copy and paste over. So the letters are in order here for my answers. If they weren't, it would require a little bit of additional work. So we're going C through V. So I want C through V. Let's go here under C and go through V. And I'm going to copy those, put them right here, Alt-E-S. Now, I want to transpose it, right? I want to take the row and make it a column. Transpose it, paste my values, hit Enter, and we'll just check some of these. That is between 4560 and 4580. That's between 3760, 3780. That's between 4640 and 4660. So it looks good. So I'm done with level 2. Here's level 3. So level 3, we're going to be looking across rows and finding the largest brick in each row. And again, it looks like we are set up in order by rows, and so it's going to make some cutting and pasting viable solution in this one well. And so we need the max number in each row. So we'll go max function, give it the entire row, copy that down, and we need for our answers first 21 rows, copy, paste the values in. So I see that 332 matches the example. Good news. We need to be between 280 and 300, between 320 and 340, and between 300 and 320. So those look good as well. Here we are at level 4. We're going to do a similar process, except we're going to be working with columns, and we're going to be looking for the smallest brick in each column. So since we're using Excel columns here, we want to use the unmerged sheet. We use some of the work that we did before as well. I'm going to use the min function. Grab the entire column above. Just grab all of this. And temporarily put it over here to the right. It's this row we're interested in. So B is 10, so that's right. So we need C through D again. Go out to V. And make sure we transpose and values. And look at our little checks, make sure we're good. 61, so between 15 and 20, between 20 and 25, between 25 and 30. Move to level 5, which is a little bit more complex. We're going to average the numbers of the bricks in a given row, and then we need to round that to the nearest integer. Now notice here that the rows are mixed up, so we can't just do the work over on the other tab and copy it. We're gonna have to do something a little bit more. But let's first get the averages rounded appropriately. Average is gonna be average. Grab my data. And I want to make sure that is rounded. Round average. Get me to the nearest whole number. And there's my averages. Okay, so to get the answers in appropriately, I'm going to have to figure out which row we're in. And let's copy that first row down here. So I'm going to work on the example in this cell and see if I can get to 174. This is a great place to use an XLOOKUP. I'm going to look for a row number in this cell here. And we'll look in the row column, lock that, and my return is going to be this average column. And also we'll lock that in. And so there's my 174. And because I've anchored things appropriately, I'll be able to copy this down. I'm just going to copy formulas here so I can maintain all my formatting. Let's look at our check values. 140 and 160, 140 and 160, 100 and 120. So those all check out. Now we're on level 6. On level 6, we are again going to be looking across a given row, and we want to identify all brick numbers that have 3-digit numbers, so they're strictly greater than 99. I'm going to do that with a COUNTIF. I'm going to call this 3-digit. And so I'll say COUNTIF. Give it the range. And the criteria is it's strictly greater than 99. That would make it a 3-digit number. And there are 9 of them in row 1. We can see that, yes, there are 9 in row 1. Now, rows are mixed up again here, so I'm going to need to do an XLOOKUP. So I'll put my 1 there again. I'll see if I can hit the 9, my lookup, so I'll know my XLOOKUP is working correctly. XLOOKUP. Look for a row number. in the row column. And we'll go in the, fix this column here in just a minute, but I'll go ahead and put it there. The 3-digit column. And there I got my 9. So let's one more step here. Copy that down. Now that column is actually filled. And so now I can copy my XLOOKUP down. And there we go. Check our answers. So between 5 and 10, between 5 and 10, between 10 and 15. Go to level 7 now. Level 7, Wicked Witch of the West is removing the largest bricks. And so we've got a threshold value that tells us the border for how large the bricks need to be. And so we need to, within the level and the row, we need to sum the bricks that have a threshold value greater than whatever. This level, I think I'm going to work in a different direction than I did before. The reason I'm doing that is here I've actually got the threshold values in this sheet already, and so I'm going to have to condition on this this column. So I think it's going to be a little bit simpler to go and grab the break numbers from here and actually bring them into this white space over here. So I'll do that with an XLOOKUP. I'm going to look up the row and we'll look in the row column here. I'm going to anchor it because I'm going to copy. And I'm going to return all of the break numbers. And now, since I've got merged cells, it's going to return some zeros for all of the second cell in each of these merged cells. You'll see that here in just a minute. Let's lock that in place. And there we go. So there's all of my brick numbers. And so this 0, since that 180 spans two columns, you're going to have 181 and a 0, and then 44 and a 0. This is all fine for this level because all I really care about is stuff that's greater than some threshold. These zeros aren't going to matter anyway. So there's my bricks that I'm dealing with. Now, the task at hand is to just sum all of the numbers that are greater than the threshold. That's a SUMIFS. For my SUMIFS, this array is going to be the sum range, and that array is also going to be the criteria range. Now the criteria is strictly greater than the value inside a cell, so I'm going to have to concatenate a string. So the first part of my string is going to be the greater than sign. And so then I'm going to use the ampersand to concatenate with the contents of this cell here. So I can see we've got our 2018. So that looks good. So let's now copy all of this down. And obviously there's nothing going on here because it's a blank row, but here's my answers. Because I copied the process. And see if they check out between 1840 and 1860, 2200 and 2220, and 2480 and 2500. So that completes level 7. Go back up now and hit the bonuses. Bonus 1, how many gray cells are in the yellow brick road? think we ought to be able to just eyeball this one. Yeah, we can see that there's 28 rows. Every other row is a gray on this side, same on the other side. So there should be 14 on the left and 14 on the right. So it should be 28 gray bricks or gray cells. 28. How many yellow bricks are in the yellow brick road? See, how are we going to do that? Well, each brick has a unique number. So let's do this. Go in here and go out here to the right. We'll just use this column. First column here. Say to call. It's going to return everything in a single column. So I'm going to go grab every number. That's going to have some duplicates, right? It's going to have lots of zeros in there. So enter into this formula. Let's wrap that in unique. Everything is only shown once. Now, of course, this column also contains 0. So let's see. Looks like we've got 337 numbers in this column, but it also includes 0. So there should be 336 non-zero numbers. That answer there. 36. If Dorothy is standing in cell G17 of the yellow brick road, which brick number is she standing on? All right, ought to be an easy way to find this. We'll go over here to this one. F5, look for G17. We are in brick 256. 256. Bonus 4 says, how many cells are in the image of the Emerald City? Now, the Emerald City, this is a beautiful Excel picture that was used in the Pro case. We didn't use it at all here. We need to count the cells. So let's go down here to this bottom right corner. You can see that it is 128 by 128. So that's going to equal 128 times 8. That number. And finally, we go to bonus 4. So here we need to see how many letters are in this list of names, and we're instructed to not count spaces between the words. We'll break this down into chunks. So let's grab that text first of all. And we'll go out here, put it out here in space. Let's do a text split. And I'm going to split this text up, and I want to split it into rows. I want one name on each row, so I'm going to put nothing for the column delimiter, and I'll go to the row delimiter. I can give this thing a list of row delimiters by including them in braces. So the first one is going to be a comma followed by a space. And then the second one, we've got to get that and before the Wicked Witch of the West. So the second delimiter is going to be a comma followed by a space followed by the word and followed by a space. That should finish out my delimiter list. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so there's our list of names. Now we also want to eliminate the spaces. Go another step here and substitute this text. The old text, we're going to take a space and replace that with nothing. Nothing going on with Dorothy, but for these other ones, you can see that we have eliminated spaces. Now let's get the length of text. Copy that down, and some of those I can see in the bottom is 68. So answer should be 8. And we are done with the case.